So I want to talk about a topic that I think is very misunderstood, and I'm going to do my best to explain it here to everyone. But the more that I look around here and the more that I see mankind as a whole and where a lot of this is going, people today are going nuts. They're not just losing their mind. You see, losing your mind is something completely different. Because I know for myself, I have lost my mind many times. Because losing your mind is coming to realizations. Losing your mind is being honest with yourself. Losing your mind is coming to the grips of reality and accepting things that are hard to accept, but you accept them anyway. And I can go on and on about what it means to lose your mind. But going nuts is a completely different thing. And that's what most people in this world are doing. They are going nuts. They're going nuts. Just look at what's happening. Just look at what's going on in the world. Look at what this agenda is pushing on to people and how it's making the world and how it's making people. We are in 2023. 2023. And mankind is still dropping bombs on one another. Mankind is still going to war with one another. Mankind is still, and here's the thing that kills me. If we would go into a war, American people would support the war effort. They would support a war effort. They would literally support the lunacy that is going on in this world. This is how sick mankind really is. This is how sick the human nature and most people are. You know, we don't even realize that we are literally our own destruction in this life. We are not doing anything here to help ourselves to build a refuge of our own that we can say, okay, this is how I want to live. This is something I want to live for. Everybody is just destroying. Everybody is just a part of the bloodlust. Everybody is just doing every abomination under the sun. And then we wonder why there's all these problems. You know, I know there's natural problems. I'm not running away from that fact. I'm not in denial of that. There's natural problems. And, you know, all in all, humanity is the problem. But the thing is, we are so in denial of things that the things that we do are not making the situation worse. It's just, it's not making the situation better. It's making it worse. It's making more and more people go more nuts. And this is how crazy it is. Like, all that the TV and the news and social media and these representatives of the people that broadcast what's going on and the people, it's the people. And yes, it's the powers that be too, but it's the people too. It's the people. It's a people problem. And they are the ones they are causing these conflicts. They are antagonizing these conflicts. They are the ones they are bringing about this lunacy. They're bringing it about themselves. And they don't even see that they're doing this. They don't even see that they are the ones that are causing these conflicts because they are leading it on. They talk about it. They're fear mongers. That's all you see on lately. All that I've been seeing pop up on my YouTube is fear mongering. It's just stuff about this war going on in Russia, whatever, and it's just fear mongering, fear mongering, fear mongering, fear mongering. And I'm starting to realize that it's, yes, these things, they do go on in the world, but see, I want to do what I can to get away from it as much as I can. And I'm talking about it because I'm spreading awareness to other people to not get involved with this stuff, because it is literally the cancer of mankind. It is literally the gossiping that goes on, the drama in it, the it's just antagonizing a situation to happen. And these freaking idiots, these people that never suffered or went through anything, they don't know any better because they don't know the lunacy of war. They don't understand what it means to suffer. They don't understand something that's happening to other people that isn't happening to them, so they don't care. They support something that they're ignorant of. It's ignorance on a grand scale. And I'm telling y'all, don't fall for this shit. Don't fall for this stupid bullshit, because it's everywhere. And there's a lot of people that are doing it. They're fear mongers. I know that I talk about things on my channel that I need to talk about. I talk about some pretty deep stuff, but yet I'm not going to get involved with what these people are doing to themselves to destroy themselves. Even though, yes, I'm someone that I will never bring a kid here. Um, I'm kind of the middleman in this whole thing. I'm like the middleman spokesman to both sides. I am for, if somebody is sick and they don't want to keep living, well, then they should have a graceful way to go out of this world. If somebody hates life and they don't want to live it, they have every right. That's their body, that's their life. If they want to gracefully or find some kind of way to do whatever, if that's what they decide to do, that is their life. That is their choice. That is their life. Me, I'm stuck in between here. I wanna be healthy, and I wanna live, and I want to do some things in the art world, and I still want to experiment with some stuff, and I still want to do what I know I want to do. But at the same time, I'm stuck in between this world, these two worlds of two different kinds of people that will not get real with themselves. They're stuck. They're stuck on a side, and they stay stuck on a side because they stay comparing themselves. They stay doing all these things that I'm talking about, and they're causing the problems here. They're causing a lot of stuff. Now, I know our human nature causes a lot of stuff too. We can't get away from the fact that we are powerless. We are humans. We live and we die. We are made of flesh, blood, and bone that can break and bleed and can, have things happen very easily. I know and I understand that. But I will not promote this lunacy, these people that are going absolutely nuts. I will not promote that. I'm for people that say, look, I'm losing my mind. Because if you're losing your mind, that means that you're coming to reality. You're coming to see things how they really are. It sucks. It's the people that use this language like awoken and awake, and these people are woke and all this stuff. Listen, believe you me, trust me when I say this, these people have no idea. They have no idea what they're even saying to themselves. Because if they really knew what it was to be awake or to wake up out of the slumber, trust me. Trust me when I say this. Most of the world needs to stay sleeping, because if they wake up, they're not going to be able to handle it. They're not going to be able to deal with the brutal, honest truth of this reality and the things that we do, the way that we live, the way that we treat each other, the wars that we create, the famine. You know, we bring 4 children into this world and we can't take care of them. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on with ignorant people and what ignorant people do. And that's the problem. It's ignorant people causing the ignorance. It's ignorant, unintelligent, uninformed, unaware people that are causing all the problems in this world. They are the ones that are keeping all of these things going. They are the epitome of ignorance itself, but they think in their mind that they're the right ones, that they're doing something to make the world better and all this bullshit. It is so hypocritical. It is so disgusting. It is so ignorant and so unintelligent and so irrational. And I cannot stand for any of it. I cannot stand for it at all. I just cannot stand for any of it. I don't stand for any ideology. I don't stand for anything that anybody is doing in this world right now. I'm against ideologies. I am against wars. I'm just against almost everything, but I don't want to use the word against. I just know that it's not rational to keep doing some things that we're doing in this life, that people keep doing. And they're just getting more nuts, and they're doing more things to try to pave it over with doing more things to try to pave it over with doing more things to try to pave it over. And all they're doing is they're becoming more and more and more nuts. And they're doing more things to try to change or do something about a situation that they need to just stop doing and let it go and say, look, it's the end of an era. We cannot do this anymore. Yet we're still doing this in the name of what? What are we doing all this for? In the name of what? What are these people? If we go to war again, if we would happen to go to war again, all that we're doing is we are literally killing ourselves. We're literally destroying each other. And I know some people out there, they want that to happen. They want to see that happen. I don't think we should go out that way. I think there should be a more graceful way for humanity to go out. I am for more of a graceful approach. I am more for a more intelligent, dignified way of going about doing it if we happen to do it, whatever comes in our future. I'm for that way. I'm not for the violent, the way that just is treating sentience with no respect at all. I can't stand for that, I just can't stand for that. I'm sorry, I can't do it, because I know what it is to be a sentient being. I know what it is to suffer. I know what it is to go through these things. I'm still going through things. I'm still having physical problems. I'm still having problems with this. I'm still having problems myself in my own life. And where I'm at with this, I don't really want to get too deep here, because I don't want to talk myself into a hole that I can't get out of. But there's just a lot of things changing in my life. There's a lot of the way that I see things is changing. And this is a lot of mankind's problem. They're not willing to change anything. They're not willing to change the way that they think. They're so stuck on fuck. They're so stuck on one side. They're so stuck on one ideology. They're so stuck on thinking that we have to do it this way. We have to do it the way our ancestors did it. We have to do it the way, the traditional way, or we have to believe this thing and do it this way. And this is another one of mankind's problems. There's so many problems, and mankind is literally causing all of these problems. And when you see that, what it does is it makes you want to go off on your own. You see, it makes you want to go off in a land of your own and plant your own food and build your own house and have your own craft and your own art and to do your own thing. And that's to the point I'm at. I don't want to be involved with any of this bullshit anymore. The mainstream to me is absolutely dead. I want nothing to do with it. Now, I'm not saying, I mean the aspect of the agenda. I'm not talking about if something would happen to where I would be seen on some platform or something. I'm talking about being a part of the agenda, the ignorance, the mainstream ideologies of things, the indoctrination, the programming, the bloodlust, the thing that they're forcing on people. They're literally throwing it right in our face, and it's so sick. It's a sick game being played here with a lot of us, and I'm not falling for it, and I want nothing to do with it at all. And that's what I mean. I mean falling for the TV indoctrination. I mean falling for this lunacy, falling for this agenda that people are going nuts over. They're literally being driven to go nuts. It isn't that we're losing our mind and that we're learning things and we're becoming more intelligent so that we can cause as less problems as possible. See, we're not doing that. We're going the opposite direction. We're all fighting each other. We're all destroying each other. We go to war to solve something that cannot be solved. War will never solve anything, people. That doesn't solve anything. That is lunacy. Soldiers even say this. It's lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. It does nothing. It's just fighting for the powers that be, or fighting for some kind of cause, some kind of ignorant ideology or ignorant cause, or to keep some ignorance going. That's all that it does. I will never go off into war. I will never fight for any country, any place. I'm like Muhammad Ali. I am not going to go off and go and kill other brothers. It's just not going to happen. I will never do it. I will die before I do that. That's not rational. Why would I go and kill other human beings in the name of what? In the name of what? What is it doing? And what I'm saying is, as long as I'm here, I'm looking for things to cope with. Yes, it gets bad. There are times where I'm like, why even do all this anymore? What's the point? But I'm looking for ways to cope. I'm looking for ways that I can find some kind of craft that is not destroying myself or destroying others or causing harm. I'm looking for things that I can cope with creatively, honestly. Something, planting seeds, planting watermelons. Even though I'm not doing that now, that's how I think. That's my thought. Building my own hut, building my own place, tending to my own crops, making some kind of herbs or medicinal things for myself to help me later on in life. These are the things that I look at, even though I don't have the resources to do myself. And I don't understand, if somebody that would have to give to something like this. Why do we give to things that are just causing more problems, more corruption? Because we're addicted. We're addicted to ignorance. We're addicted to this stupid shit. And see, people, they don't want to wake up. They don't want to wake up from that. Because if they wake up from that, they're going to have to make a change. They're going to have to see things differently. And a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They don't want to see things differently. And I don't even blame some people, because I know that They had circumstances or things happen in their life. They're not the same as me. So I can't expect them to think like me because they're not me. But at the same time, I don't stand for this ignorance. I don't stand for this stupidity. I don't stand for this blatant violence, this corruption, this thing that is it's it's like mankind hitting themselves over the head with a hammer saying, "I'm not hitting myself over the head with a hammer." That's what it's like. That's literally the metaphor that it is. And a lot of natural things we can't do a damn thing about. And that's why I keep telling everybody, as soon as we can come to the bare naked truth that we are here to cope, and if we need to find something to help us cope, we need to find a craft that we can do, that we enjoy, something to help us live through this life. You know, if we're miserable, then we need to find something like that in this life. And I'm telling myself the same thing. You know, I'm not telling other people this. I'm telling myself this right now in this video. I'm speaking to myself. You know, if I don't find something and I'm just going to be miserable, what is the point of living? What is the point of doing that? What is the point of going on? What is the point of doing anything if it's just going to be miserable all the time? I'm miserable too. I'm miserable too sometimes. Not all the time, but I get very miserable sometimes because I think about everything that I'm seeing, and I don't see too many people focusing on anything but the agenda. They're not focused on anything but what's going on in the world, all the stupid shit going on in the world. I don't see anybody that is focused on or has a vision for or is going for something other than destroying each other, other than spreading this dumbass gossip, other than comparing each other. Oh, I agree with him, but I don't agree with him. I like this, but I don't like this. And it's this thing where there's no kind of refuge mentality. There's no kind of let's find a craft to cope with. You know, let's do that thing. And I don't see that anywhere. And I keep seeing all this bullshit. And all that it does is it depresses the fuck out of me. It just gets me down and out. I start stressing about it. Do you see? This is why I exclude myself from the world and people, because if I would be going for anything in my life, I'm not going for what other people are going for. I'm not watching what other people, I'm not into. I see things pop up, and once in a while I click on them just to see what people are talking about. But I don't let myself get so involved with this shit that I'm going to get stuck in that bullshit. That's not going to happen with me. I'm never going to get stuck in that bullshit because it's bullshit. And I know it's bullshit. It's going to continue to be bullshit. People are going to continue to bullshit themselves. They're going to continue to speak bullshit. They're going to continue to spread bullshit. They're going to continue to be in that kind of thinking, in that kind of mind state. And me, yes, there's problems and there's things that go on in life, but that is nuts. That is nuts. It's just nuts. And that's why it's making more people go nuts, because they're watching what's nuts. They're getting involved with what's nuts. They're believing what's nuts. They're associating themselves. They're listening to the agendas. They're listening to the powers that be. They're listening to the politicians tell them these things. And don't you see that these people are nuts? They're nuts. They're just going to lead us into another war. They're just going to lead people like me and you. You will be going off to fight for these people, and you will get killed in the name of their nutsness. It's so crazy. It's so crazy when I sit here and think about this stuff. And I want to get away from it all. I want no parts of it anymore. No parts of it anymore. I am gone from their thinking. I am gone from the way that most of the world thinks about things. I am absolutely gone from it. I want no part of it. If people bring that to me, I'm going to be like, look, I understand what you're talking about, and I understand how they programmed you and they put all this shit in your mind. I understand how the TV indoctrinated you. I understand how you've been conditioned with all these things, and you've been led. You've been led by the ear. You've been led by the eyes. You've been led by what you're listening to and what you're watching. And most people don't even realize that they're in this. They're completely sleeping. But then again, I would tell a lot of people to never wake up because you cannot deal with it. I'm telling you can't deal with it because there's times that I can't even deal with it. There's times that I can't even deal with it, and I know what's going on. I understand it more than most of the world does, and I can't even handle it. I can't even cope with it sometimes. That's why I want to get away from it, because I don't want to be around it at all. When I'm not around it, it doesn't come into my presence. It doesn't come into my energy. You see, that's my vision for the rest of my life, if I have any vision at all. I'm trying to go off in a land of my own, and I am trying to make people see, even if I'm by myself, I'm trying to make people see what is really going on here. And for us to see what's really going on here, it is not going to be fun because you have to decondition your mind. You have to decondition your brain from it all. You have to let go of it all in order to understand what it is that I'm speaking here. And if you don't, then you are going to be attached to those things. You're going to believe and fall for those things. You're going to be driven by those things. The agendas are going to keep telling you, well, this is what you should do. You should be a good citizen and you should fight for your country. Fight for your country. All that they're doing, they are bloodthirsty people. They're causing more bloodshed. It's bloodlust. It's gossip. It's unnecessary chaos. I know that there's chaos in the world. I know that there's natural chaos in life. I understand that more than anybody. I understand the whole of what philosophy means and what it is. But if we keep falling for this junk, then all that we're doing, we're including ourselves in with the unnecessary junk. There's still junk that we have to deal with in life. That's a given. That's life. And I don't want to go through it either. I don't want to go through a lot of this shit either. I get sick and tired of it too. That's why I want to get away. But like I said before, I'm not going to get into it, but there's things that are thwarting me from doing that right now. And it pisses me off to my core. It gets me in a way that I don't like, because there's something holding me back from doing what I really want to do. And I'm not going to get into everything it is, but there's just a couple things that are doing that. And it's very, very aggravating. It's a very unpleasant feeling when I feel like there's still a chain holding my foot where I can't go. I can, but I'm just not to that point yet. I'm not to that point yet. But I just refuse to live. I refuse to be a part of something that is just adding on to the unnecessary baggage of our world. Do you understand? I refuse to add on to the fire of the fire that is already burning. I'm trying to put the fire out. I'm trying to put the fire out, leave the hot coals on the ground to keep it a little warm, so that we can live and do what we got to do. But yet, I don't want that flame to come back. And that's what people keep doing. They're creating the flame. They are literally creating more problems here. We are not resolving little problems. There's always going to be problems. As long as there's people in the world and there's human beings, there's going to be problems. But what I mean is, we do not have to add on to these unnecessary problems. We do not have to keep creating problems. We do not have to keep playing into agendas and ideologies and all these things. where all we're doing is we're comparing each other, and we're at war with one another, and it's I'm better than them, they're where, and it just keeps going and going and going. And men and women, they cannot understand this. They cannot get this because they have this pride thing going. They have this ego, this pride, this sense of we're more important than other people. And it's all bullshit. It's all BS. And once you see this, you will never be the same. I can never go back. I can never go back to the me that I was. Even days ago, I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly changing my mind. I'm constantly seeing things different. And the more that I see that some things are just not going to work. It's not possible. It's just not the way it was meant to be. And it's like, okay, now I got to move on to the next thing. And doing that is not easy, but that's just the way that life is. And it all comes down to me anymore. It is a coping thing. It is finding a craft that I enjoy here, that I really want to do. Something that I'm not going to do something that I hate doing every day. That is crazy. That is just, it's insane. It's insane doing something that we hate to do every day, but yet I realize there are some people that they do things that they might not want to do, and they don't even realize that, yes, they are helping someone, but they don't like what they're doing. So what do, man? I don't know. I don't have no answers for this thing. I have no answers. All I'm saying is, if it was up to me, I would want to go in a land of my own and take care of myself. That would give me a reason to live. Do you understand? That would give me a reason to wake up. Knowing that I have to tend to my own crop. Knowing I have to take care of the house. Knowing that I got to take care of the hut. Knowing I got to make sure the water's clean. And at the same time, I can do my artistical things. I can do a craft. I can build something. I can do whatever in my spare time, whatever somebody does. But some people might not know what they want to do. And that's the part that I can't help anybody with. I can't do anything for anybody in that part. I only know what I want to do, if I would do anything. And this is not me boasting or bragging in myself. It's just what I know that I would want to do. Yet I'm not there yet. I'm not doing it yet. And I'm speaking about it, and it seems hypocritical because, people would look and say, well, you're not doing that, so why would we have any whatever in you? It's not about that. It's about me. It's about thinking of what I need to do in this life. It's about thinking about what am I doing right now. That's all that it's about. It doesn't matter what I think other people think, or if other people approve of what I'm saying, or other people like or agree with. It has nothing to do with that. See, we've got to get out of that kind of thinking. We have got to get out of the thinking of trying to prove things to each other, of saying, oh, look at me. Don't you like what I do? Don't you like what I do? No, I don't want. Do you like what you do? Okay, if you're for it, if you're for yourself and for something with you, then I'm for you. But if you want me to be for you, this is what causes the friction. It's what's causing the things to happen. And I'm not explaining this exactly how I want to explain it, but it needs to be an individual thing where we're being honest with ourselves first. I'm being honest with me first. And there's days where I got to talk about shit that I don't want to talk about. I have to say things that is going to seem very bad. Like it's going to seem like I've completely given up. And I do. There's times where I do. I completely give up. I completely give up on everything. I give up on what everybody's thinking, anything they're saying, because what they're saying and doing, it's not getting anywhere anyway. It's just based upon something that I was speaking about in this video that I want no parts of. So therefore, I'm kind of in a land of my own with myself. And I don't know of too many other people that think like that, and that's why it's so hard. This is what I meant. This is why it's so hard to care and get involved with other people, because it's always this group mentality thing. It's always this conforming thing. It's always this, we have to look better. We have to look like we're more than. We have to do all those things. I don't care about any of those things. You see, I'm to the point I don't care about none of that. And it's hard. I don't know how to go from here to explain it. It's very hard to explain this to people what I mean. It's kind of like if you ever watched The Burning Man, when people go out in the middle of the desert and they all get together and they're there and they're drinking a little and they're having some fun and they're doing what they're doing. They're all there. They're individual people there with other individual people. It isn't this group thing. You see, it's an individual thing. That's what I like. But see, then there's some things that individuals might be doing that I necessarily don't agree with or I'm not doing, but that's their business. It's none of my business. You see what I'm saying? My business is my business. And that's how every one of us should be. Your business is your business. My business is my business. If you're doing something for yourself, then I'll say, okay, if that's what you do, I'm for you. But don't expect me to be for you. Don't expect me to cater to your expectations or something, because that is what causes conflict. That is what causes the problems. And that's the only thing that I see left. It is the only thing that I see left, is to break off into individual refuges, is to break off into individual communes of people, if that would ever happen. This is where I see the whole world going. I think we are in a transitioning stage right now where people, they are coming to the final blow. They realize a lot of things, but they're still not understanding that they are under the disillusionment of the agendas and the ideologies and all these things. We have got to break away from them. If we don't break away from them, then it's going to continue to remain the same. We're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. And we're going to have kids, and then they're going to do the same things over and over. And then their kids will have kids, and they'll do the same things. They'll believe the same things. They'll live the same way. They're going to imitate. They're going to try to fit in. They're going to try to be politicians. They're going to think they have solutions. And they don't realize that all they're doing is they are the problem. They are creating the problem. Even though the system feeds us, and there's a lot of things about this system, there are pros and cons to it, but the cons are not good. They're just not good. And for me to get into that, it would take a whole series for me to explain that. I can't explain it in one video. I'm appreciative towards the system and how it's set up and what people do, the people that go to work and do what they do. I appreciate that. And I see certain things that, yes, it's how it has to be, but then the cons of it. See, we never needed money. We never needed finances. We never needed banks. We never needed any of these things. And you see how it's all crumbling? Because it doesn't work. It does not work. That's why every empire, this is why every single empire that there has ever been throughout history, it has broke down. It has went to shit because it doesn't work. And this is what is happening right now. This is literally happening right now in front of our very eyes, is that it's crumbling. It's crumbling down very slowly. Will it still go for a long time? Maybe. It might go for another 50, 60, 70, 100 years. But eventually it's going to collapse on itself because it wasn't meant to be this way. It wasn't meant for us to have paper money. It wasn't meant for us to have corporations and have one guy richer than another person. It wasn't meant to be this way, people. This is not how life was supposed to be. And if we don't break away from that, if we don't start thinking differently, then nothing's going to happen. It's going to remain to be the same. We're all going to keep talking about the same shit. Everybody's going to keep gossiping about the same stuff. The TVs will keep reporting on the negative shit. And, you know, it'll just be this thing that just goes on and on and on, and mankind will continue to be creating their own problems, and it won't stop. And you know, there's a lot of things that I'm leaving out of this. I'm leaving a lot of details that in order for me to describe specifically to people, it would take me hours to do. You know, I can't do it in one video. I can't get into every little detail. I'm doing the best I can to describe it with the words that I have in my arsenal, but you know, we just don't get it. We don't get it. And the reason that it remains this way is because nobody's thinking differently. Nobody's willing to change the way that they think about things in this world. That's why we remain ignorant, is because nobody's willing to change anything. No one's willing to look at anything different. And we get caught up in the same stuff. And then the same stuff happens over and over and over and over and over and over. And history repeats itself. So that's the only thing I can see. That's the only thing I can see is breaking away from it all and going into a land of my own and doing my own thing and starting from scratch there and then do it as long as I can until I can't anymore. And then it's it. That's it. It's over. It's over. And nothing else is in my hands. It's out of my hands then. You know, I have no control over the situation after that. So that's it. I mean, that's like it, you know? And yeah, I'll sit here and I'll talk about stuff and I'll bullshit and I'll talk about philosophy and I'll keep doing my videos and whatever I'm doing and saying what I'm saying. And that's all that it is. It's simply a coping mechanism. It's just coping. I don't have any expectation for people, places, and things. I cannot save anybody. I cannot help anybody. I don't have any answers. I have nothing to offer anybody. The only thing that I have is cope. The only thing that I have is a craft. The only thing that I have is some words, is philosophy. That's all that I have. I don't have anything to give anybody in the terms of making them do something for themselves. I have nothing to give to another person. I can only speak for myself. And this is what I think a lot of us, we're looking towards other people to do something for us. We're looking towards the world to find something for us to do. We're looking towards people, places, and things to help us along in life. And that's not how it's going to happen, y'all. We have got to get out of this disillusionment. See, we've been being enabled for so long with this system. Back in the day, it wasn't like this. We had to go out and get our own food. We had to build our own places. We had to squeeze the cow udder. We had to get the chicken eggs. We had to build on our own. We had to plant on our own. We had to do everything on our own. See, the system has enabled us so much that we are looking towards them for everything. We're looking towards the corporations. We're looking towards the powers that be and other people, politicians, the leaders, which aren't leaders. They're all leading you into something that does not work. Yes, there's some pros in with it. There's some things in with it that are helping us along, that provide needs. I'm not saying that all of it is bad. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying the cons there are things that are eventually going to bring it down. The structure cannot stand for too long. It's just impossible when you have things, when you have corruption in anything. If there is corruption in anything, eventually it is going to fall. And see, I don't want to bring any of that shit with me. I don't want to bring any of that shit with me. And people that are on that kind of stuff, they can stay there. I would never want people like that dragging along with me. Why? They're just going to bring that with them. They're going to bring that thought, bring that thinking with them. Why? What is it going to do? It's just going to bring all of that shit along, and it's just going to create the same problem again. So see, I'm trying to get away from the problem as much as I can. I'm not saying that I have an ultimate resolution, because I don't as a person. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm putting it out there. I'm just spreading the awareness to other people to think about. Because I know more than likely that there's not going to be anybody that really does it anyway. I know I'm kind of in a world of my own here with how I think about things. There might be a few other people out there, but where are the people that are actually going to do that? This is what I say to myself, and this is why I have no faith in mankind. I have no hope in mankind. I have lost it. I have completely lost it. And all I'm doing is coping. All I'm doing is being honest with myself. All that I'm doing is thinking about things for myself, because I realize other people are not going to do it. So that's why I have to do it. And people out there, if they don't do it, then nobody's going to do it. So who's going to take up the slack for themselves, or who's going to look in the mirror and say, what do I have to do here? Or, I want to get away from this. So what's the next step? Okay, I need to make a change here. I got to change something. But we're so used to being stuck on something. We're so used to going by the things that we've been going by our whole lives that it's hard to break away from those things, because we're addicted to those things. We think that that's the only way for us to go about doing it. You understand what I'm saying here? So I'm going to end it on that note. My neck is killing me holding this phone. Like I said, I'm having problems with my neck. I'm having problems with my head, my eyes. There's something not right. There's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. And I'm going to the doctors for this shit. It's a pain in the ass, but whatever. It is what it is. You just got to cope with it. That's all. Cope with it and get through it. It's all you can do. Do the best you can. It's all you can do, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Stay true. Stay real. Stay honest. Do what you can while you can. Don't add on to the problems. Cause as least problems as you can while you're here. Okay, can we do that for a change? Instead of adding on to the fire that's already going on, can we do that? Is that so hard for us to do? So a moment of silence for life, all the sentient creatures, all the people suffering, all the pain, all of the misery, all of the just the chaos in this world. Let's have a moment of silence for that for once. And let's have more compassion too. Why don't we think of having more compassion for things in this world? More empathy, more awareness for things while we're here. I know I lose sight of that sometimes myself, but it's the only thing. It's the only thing that helps me to cope sometimes. So that's what I got to do. Sometimes you got to do stuff you don't even want to do in order to cope. I know that, People don't think I don't know that. So, cheer to all sentience, to things that feel, to all that's suffering, to all that are willing to make a change in this world while they can, while they're still here. Cheers to that. Later, y'all.